You are welcome to Open Therapy. Today we shall be looking at something fundamental. Throughout the world, there are different challenges, financial challenges. So what we shall be looking at today is financial therapy. Financial therapy in terms of a lot of people suffer from mental challenges due to their state of their financial position. And we are looking at psychology of poverty. Globally, it has been stated that more than 1.5 billion individuals live on less than $1, and level of poverty have been stipulated that at least an individual should be able to live on $2 per day. But a number of people are living on less than $1. So that means there's a lot of people living on poverty line and a lot of people living below poverty line. And peculiar to some African countries that are going through challenges now, they are suffering from different challenges of economic problems, foreign exchange. And looking at the psychology of poverty, poverty is associated with insufficient wage or salary, poor access to health care, inadequate accommodation, poor diets or nutrition. Then there is lack of access to credit and capital. Then there is unstable or irregular or protracted income. The income can be unstable, it can be protracted, or it can be irregular. These are some of the things that psychology of poverty try to look at. And it also look at background risks that perpetuate people in poverty. There are a number of background risks that constitute this, and it also look on uninsurable or not diversified risks that most people that live on poverty go through. There are some habits that have been formed due to poverty, which an individual have to be conscious of. One of these habit form is consciousness and superstitious beliefs about how wealth are created or made. An individual have to understand that there are no superstitions attached to making wealth. So an individual have to have that clear understanding. Another habit that is formed is short-term thinking. Most people under poverty have short-term thinking. They are thinking and making small decisions for immediate benefit rather than looking at the long-term gain. They rather take decisions for immediate short-term gain. Another habits which are formed due to poverty is habitual behavior at the expense of goal-directed one. They just make decisions out of habit rather than a goal-directed habit. These are some of the habits that are formed due to poverty. Another habit form is the habits of risk aversion. There is display of behavior of not willing to take some calculated risks. So such are some of the behavior that affects the ability to increase income or to make large sum of income in the long run. Then there is also scorn or hatred for those doing well. A lot of people want to do well, but when they see somebody doing well, they usually have scorn for such person. Poverty also affects decision-making process. An individual in a poverty stage, usually when they are making decision about money, they usually are making decision and not using their self-control to delay gratification. So by this, their willpower is put down and they only act by default. And that decision will not help them to increase their long-term benefit. Still in this part of understanding poverty. Now there is need to understand the cycle of poverty in order to target the root cause. When governments are doing intervention, there is need to understand the root cause of poverty. And for an individual that wants to assist somebody, there is need to understand the root cause of poverty. There are mechanisms through which poverty emerges and they are perpetuated in life of people. So that have to be well understood. And poverty of psychology have helped us to have understanding of this. Now, particularly, there is psychological consequence of poverty, which may lead to another economic behavior that make it tough or tougher for such individual to escape from poverty, because the psychology consequence of poverty have enabled the person to act in a particular way. So the person might not be able to get out of that. That have to be understood. Now, there is also counterproductive behavior. There are counterproductive behaviors such an individual will engage in. Instead of getting out, the person is getting further in debt below poverty line. So there is need to understand this counterproductive behavior. So the person will make decisions that involve trade-off or compromise of the activities that will get the person out of poverty. So this trade-off and compromise will also hinder the person. So these are counterproductive behaviors such person will exhibit. Another thing is that poverty causes pressure. An individual is under stress and it affects the states that that person will be shallow in thinking. And that person will take hazardous independent behaviors that is directed at a result that is risk aversion. The person will be avoiding taking calculated risks because of the pressures of this environment. There's also environment of poverty. This environment triggers the processes that reinforces poverty. It reinforces it and the person is in that environment. So understanding this will help to know that this thing perpetuates the cycle of poverty in society. And in this current situation that we're all going through, it is very, very fundamental. Now, to get people out of poverty, there are a number of things that have been done. One major thing that normally implemented is targeting poverty directly by giving people cash. So there are a number of cash transfer programs. That is good. That should be sustained. But there's also be another thing, targeting the psychological consequences of poverty. Now, this now have to be doing psychological intervention through financial therapy to get rid of fear of loss or fear of death. Now, a number of very poor people are afraid that if they invest or save, they are going to die and somebody else will spend their money. So a number of psychological interventions should be activated to help them to overcome this pattern of thinking or any counterproductive way that perpetuate the cycle of poverty. So the economic behavior too can be targeted using psychological tools and wisdom, targeting economic behavior directly, encouraging savings and investment. So there is need to educate people to encourage them to save and to invest, to save and to build businesses and to be able to invest. Then long-term economic mindsets. They have to have long-term economic mindsets to help them to think in the long horizon and to look at the benefits of compounded interest, which comes out of a number of years of investing. They have to have that long-term economic horizon to be able to act, and that can be done psychologically. They also have to learn how to delay gratification, ability to delay gratification of immediate gratification and look at long-term benefits, long-term reward, and long-term compounding interest benefits. They also need to learn how to manage risks rather than running away from risks. Most people, it has been said that they avoid risks, risk aversion, or risk avoidance. So these are strategies that the poor use, but the rich usually look at how to manage the risks associated with the investment by looking at the investment, and some will even look deeper to look at historical perspective of some of the investment to know the season and the cycle, the economic cycle that will benefit them. So together we can act individually, we can act at various levels of leadership to break this cycle of poverty among Africans, among people around the world, whether they are from any country. Even in advanced countries, there are people that are perpetuating the cycle of poverty. So it is time that we understand with this psychological effort that have been done and some work that have been put into it to help us to understand how to get and to break the cycle of poverty. Thank you.